welcome to Questions and Answers series. Today we'll talk about how to overcome fear in our trading. And I was asked this question yesterday, and it took me some time to find a proper answer for it. Normally it is a really big topic and really deep question, which takes me a lot of time with my students during mentoring sessions to get properly answered, but I'll try to squeeze it to this formula. So basically we are talking about the fear which is after a streak of losers, a fear of entering the next trade, of losing money. So first thing to understand is how the emotions work. They're like a signal from our brain, from our mind, that something is going wrong. It's part of the self-preservation mechanism. It's like a antivirus and firewall built in our brain. Its main task is to protect us from the possible danger, from the situations we would like to avoid. Pain is one of them, and emotional pain is also a pain. So if we lose money, the pain in our brain is inflicted. We can feel emotions which then will be translated. Emotions like angry, sadness, being anxious, we can experience all of them. And they will be translated by our mind to the signal, to the narrative, which will basically tell us if we did something wrong, that it will tell, okay, stop doing it, you suck, you don't know what you're doing, maybe you should try something else. And this is absolutely best solution ever. Just stop doing what you're doing right now, because you will avoid the pain. The problem is that market is totally random, so our brain, our mind actually will not be able to give us the best ever solution. It will give us the easiest one, and this is the way it's programmed since prehistorical ages, since caveman ages. When we did something wrong, we were hurt. We were actually told by our brain, stop doing what made you hurt. Fear also was a signal for us that if we fear something like dark bushes or whatever, it is caused because something is probably there. Maybe a predator who wants to hunt us, and it's better to avoid it. And we are naturally programmed to avoid the fear. Problem is, as the market is totally random, we have an equal chance of being right and being wrong all the fucking time. The only way we know the price action will move is to the right of the screen, that's all. And that's why those signals will be totally useful to us, because if you still want to be a trader, you need to accept that first of all you will be losing money. And this is a natural part, because nobody can be right all the time and nobody can be wrong all the time. So why I fear after a string of losers? First of all, every situation repeated several times in a row will only give more credit to somebody who is telling us you're doing something wrong. So if we make a mistake several times in a row and somebody is telling us every time you are wrong, you should not do it, it will automatically give more credit to this person, to this narrative. This is the same with our mind. So the fear will be harder and more incorporated in us. More time in a row we will be losing. As I said, it may be useful in just simple life, but totally useless in trading. But we still have this red light blinking in our head, making us more and more paralyzed and doubting ourselves, second guessing ourselves. And this is only because our mind wants to preserve us from potentially losing situation, and from our recent experience we are only losing, then the normal way out will be just to stop trading, stop doing it. The key to understanding why it's different in the market is because market is totally random. There is no way to 100% predict what the market will do in the next tick, in the next candle, in the next day, or whatever time frame you are using. In normal life, we can predict certain situations based on patterns, and our mind likes patterns. In market, we can't. I mean, we can predict a certain probability, we can have setups, but market will do whatever it wants to do. It may look like it wants to go up and it will go rapidly down like flash crash, which actually happened a lot last time. When I'm recording this video, we're experiencing like continuing of the bearish market in Bitcoin. Let's leave it this way. So string of winners will also give us a same result, but on the opposite side. It will give us a feeling of being invincible. We'll be more brave. We'll feel fear less. We'll be more brave and we'll feel invincible. We are always right. And to be honest, this is more even devastating than fearing to entering the next trade. Because if you fear to enter a trade and you don't enter the trade, you will not lose money. If you feel invincible and you will jump the gun, there will be one time you will get wrecked really bad. So with fear, you have at least a good voice in your head telling you to stop and cut the losers. Also, fear is induced by our inability to accept the loss before even risking money. Because, as I said, we fear something which we don't know the output of. And if you are entering a trade with wishful thinking that it will be a winner, pain will be harder. If instead of it, you will already accept the loss by spending money on a stop loss, like the distance from the stop loss should be the money you already spent, it's out of your wallet. And then, only thing you can experience is not a bad situation, because you are already in bad situation. You probably watch the horror movies, and we fear only like a first time we see, and most of the horror movies are made in the same way. We fear the most before we see actually what we fear, and after we see all the movie, we already know what we were fearing of, and the next time we'll be watching this movie, we'll be probably not scared or scared less. And the same will be with paying for a trade, like for the ticket to the cinema, for the movie. Only thing you can lose this way is just you can have after watching a bad movie. It will be regret of watching this one, but there is still another movies in the coming. So why wouldn't I risk my money on watching another movie which has brilliant director or whatever? So we fear only something which is unknown, and if we already accept the loss as a certainty, I will lose money this time, and I will adjust my position size for this loss to be acceptable by me. The only thing you can experience is like, okay, well, this time I was right, I made money, that's nice, but every trade should be the same in my eyes. So we already know one of the solutions to overcome our fear of putting another trade. So first, we know that we need to spend money before we even think about winning it. Also, if you fear of being wrong, practice your strategy a lot. I mean, paper trade it a lot. Go back and forth in time, paper trade, find setups, trade it. And one more thing, always write down all the results like a trade journal, but without risking money. Then start trading. When you gain confidence in this strategy, start trading with the real money, but a really low amount. If you can handle a low amount of money, like a small account, and make it bigger, you will be able to do it with bigger money. That's for sure. But start slow, and whenever you fear of entering a next trade, don't enter it, but write it down, just paper trade it and log it in your journal. Because after all, you will be able to see all the statistics of your trading activity, which you would normally do if you were not subject to your feelings. And then you will gain more confidence, which will tell you that, okay, next time I will risk money because most of the time I was right, and I should do it next time. So more time, and also remember, you play a long-term game, which is not about a single trade to be a winner. You want to win a whole game. You want to increase your wallet size over time. If you play the coin toss game, like toss a coin game, you have 50% chance of winning, which absolutely doesn't mean every time you will be like heads or tails, like a same pattern. By tossing a coin, you can also lose 100 times in a row. I know it's unlikely to happen, but it can happen by definition, because every toss is a single event and not connected to the other one. But more times you throw it, treating a whole series like an event instead of each toss of a coin, it's less likely for you to lose all the money on betting. So this is called distribution of probability. Even if your strategy has 99% chance of winning single trade, it does not mean 100%. You can still be wrong 10 or 20 times in a row and will not be violating overall probability. It basically says that you will probably have around 99 winners out of 100 tries, or even 9,900 winners out of 10,000 tries, which gives you 100 possible losers in a row, and you will be not violating anything. So you need to understand this. And also, just wrapping up this video, try to think in a more constructive way instead of thinking what you did wrong, like in a bad way, like emotional. Instead of blaming yourself for a failure, just ask what you should do next time to see the similar setup and to avoid it, and analyze also your good and bad trades and learn, because our brain is a true miracle and you can learn absolutely everything by just repeating it and finding a solution to the problem, rather than just drowning in it and sitting in the past and thinking, okay, I should have done this or that. It's not the point. You should absolutely try to analyze everything you do. Don't think about it in an emotional way. Just see what you did wrong, what you did good. If you did something wrong, you need to remember not to do it again in the future. And if you did something good, or you even had this paper trade, okay, I should have entered it this way, and you had this trade like logged in your book, then you see you were right, and next time you probably will be more encouraged to take a trade which made you money. I hope this video answered the question, at least in a way which will satisfy you, my dear friend who asked this question. Next time I will try to focus also on aspects of managing the emotions in those videos, because I see it's really important. If you want to ask me more questions, if you want to talk with other traders in our community, feel free to join my Nibiru Trading Zone Discord. It's free to join. There's a lot of educational content there, and a lot of people who also trade, and we like to exchange our experience. Until then, just trade safe and good luck.